Welcome to the Scene Snob interviews with your host, Mick Manhattan. Please like and subscribe to our channel and follow us at the Scene Snob.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Scene Snob interviews. We're back again, and with me is a filmmaker that I have to tell you this past weekend blew me away with his feature film, Rook. It's a new film out. It's available on Amazon Prime. You can go read my review, but in short form, I will say go rent it. It's worth it. It's a very fun. I want to call it almost it's a heist movie, but it's got a lot of comedy, a lot of drama, but a whole lot of heart. And I'm joined today by one of the writers and the director, Mr. Stephen Morgan. How you doing today?
Hey. Good, Mick. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for being on the show. Like I said, I was just really enjoyed your movie. And I can't wait to really get into it. I got a lot of praise and questions for you.
Great. Awesome. Yeah, hit me up.
Well, for one, I know you're from Colorado, correct? And this was...
Yeah, I live in Colorado now. I'm originally from Florida, but we've been here for about 3.5 years. And we actually came here for this movie's purpose. And because we fell in love with Cripple Creek and Victor, the towns, first. And then it was like, hey, there needs to be a movie made here. And so we packed our bags and moved out here and started working on it about 3.5 years ago, and we just finished.
Well, that's actually was one of the first things I was going to ask you. So you are living in the town. Which town are you living in, if you don't mind me asking?
We actually live in Colorado Springs, which is on the east side of Pikes Peak. Victor and Cripple Creek are on the west side of Pikes Peak. Which is what makes it feel so remote and almost island-like. It's so out in the middle of nowhere that, we came by to make a movie and everyone's like, all right, whatever you want to do. So
that's awesome. And it really is. I mean, the imagery in it, I mean, just the locations alone are breathtaking, and the imagery and the way you captured it was amazing. Did you use a lot of drone work for the vast scapes that you took?
Yeah, there's a few drone shots in there that I did. I did all the drone stuff after we finished photography, over the course of like 4 months while it kept snowing and snowing and snowing. And every time it would snow again, I'd run back out and get another B-roll shot or something. And it was an interesting, way to piece it together. But in the case of this, it worked out because, we didn't have really a post-production budget. So I kind of had to cut it while I was doing other things and commercial stuff, and yeah, we just kind of worked on it until it felt right.
That's amazing, because there is a shot in there. I mean, there's many shots in there, but and I won't give anything away about the ending. But when you kind of pull away in that shot in the end, and you get the whole scope, it just beautiful.
With the van down underneath it. I love that. Yeah. I love that. We just got a really clear day that day, and it was really nice.
Nice.
But it's beautiful out there. Like, I didn't have to do much. I just pointed the camera, and it's just breathtaking out there. It's incredible.
Well, what led you to kind of go back to the locations? What led you from especially Florida to go out and check out Cripple Creek and Victor? What were those two locations that they stand out to the most?
So what happened was my producer, Steve Kitzman, who I kind of followed out here from Florida, he got a job as the marketing director in Cripple Creek. And so he had been telling me for like years, you got to come check this out. You got to come see this place. It's really cool. And I was like, I was living in Florida. I was at the beach. I didn't know what it was like out here. I'd never been here before. So he eventually hired me to come shoot some commercials for the casinos out there, because Cripple Creek's a casino town. And I came out, and it was just that one trip, and I was like, holy crap, this place is incredible. And I went home and told my wife, and we grabbed the kids and came visited and checked it out just to see if they felt the same thing, and they did. So we packed our stuff and came on out.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's great that you're still there. And, you definitely, it was such a different type of location, especially for a heist movie. I love the gold aspect of it. So the MacGuffin in the movie, for anybody, once you go check it out, is the gold, um, which is it's in today's world of movies is you don't see a lot of. So I thought that was a really cool twist that you put in there for a modern day movie.
It's kind of, yeah, it is a little old fashioned, but that's actually why we chose not to show the inside of the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Was because just to like touch a little bit more, like this gold is not what's important. It's important to them, but not to us. And even in the end, you see that even more. What's actually important to the characters.
Yes, and you absolutely do, because actually there was when you got to the end and you saw what was important. I was still questioning that MacGuffin at the end.
Like, who's in Bill's house? Where like, who has the key? Who has the key that can go in there and root through and find it? It's like the money in Fargo. It's like, is it still there? Who knows?
But I got to give it to you. You tie everything up in a nice bow all the way throughout. So that's why it's such a wonderful story. I loved all of the characters in the film. Two that stood out to me the most, and that's saying a lot because you get a lot of great performances in this, is Zach Rush's Ben, the main character, main protagonist. And you get Wyatt McLeod, one of the Hillbilly brothers. He's the vocal of the two, of course. And those two characters really stood out to me because of the way they talked and they interacted in the movie. Zach, as the character of Ben, right off the bat, breaking the fourth wall. There's something so charming and charismatic about him. But he's cheeky. He really is. You wrote it wonderfully, the way he talks and everything. He's just a fast-talking guy. He's that Zach Morris type, if you will.
Oh yeah, that's a good comparison.
You don't know why you like him.
We've heard Marty McFly. Some people think he's kind of squirrely like Marty McFly, but I haven't heard Zach Morris yet. That's good. I like that. He's nice. Kind of that's nice.
And he he really pulls it out, and he makes you care for him throughout the whole thing, even though he can be despicable at times, of course. But I gotta give praise, and it was Zachary Andrews who played Wyatt McLeod in the movie. One of the brothers who is the antagonist. He delivered that monologue about his father, and I was like, this is terrifying. This is a terrifying human being. Truly.
So do you know why it's terrifying? Like what to you makes it terrifying? Because I have a story about that, but I'm just curious.
You know what it is? He's a very good looking guy. He's got a very friendly face.
Yeah. But
the way he talks, the way he carries himself, because he's very cool, calm, and collected. It's the other brother, played by C. Matt Burns, Jesse McLeod. He's the one that, we see right off the bat, he's vicious. So we know what we're dealing with him right from the beginning, which he plays it perfectly. And he's a terrifying character too.
Right.
But there's something about that cool, calm, collected demeanor throughout the entire thing, no matter what he's going through. And then he's delivering his lines, and you're just like, this is the guy to be afraid of.
Right. So like my one thing that I was looking for that character is because I knew he didn't actually, do any of the actual killing himself. We spent some time thinking about like what would make him scary, and I think what I was really looking for was someone who would try not to be like, who is not trying to be scary, but just knew he was the baddest dude in the room. And so like we went through a ton of people to find him. And the funny thing is at first, and I don't know if I've actually told Zach, I think I have, I went right past his face on the casting thing because I was like, he's way too pretty, way too attractive for this role. Like I didn't even think about it again. And we screen tested a bunch of different guys, local guys. We wanted to keep it local, and who are all really good actors. But they all tried, so they screen tested with that monologue, and they all tried to be scary. They'd like grab the pages like this, or, like do stuff like that. and we were this close to hiring one guy who was really good, but he was kind of trying to be scary. And Zach and Sarah, who play Annie and Ben, actually were like, hey, there's this actor that we went to acting school with. I don't know if you've heard or if you've seen him, but he's in Colorado. I think he'd be a good Wyatt. And I was like, send me anything, like anyone. I want to see everyone. I'm still hunting for this guy. And it was Zach Andrews. And I was like, oh, the pretty boy. And they were like, no, you should just watch it. And so I was like, all right, if he wants to try it, but I don't know how. I don't envision someone who's that, like, good looking to play the role. And not only did he send back a video that blew us away, I mean, it was by far way better than any of the other people in both the respect of he wasn't trying to be scary. He was just saying it just like he does in the movie. It's kind of like matter of fact. It's like, why would you even think this is scary? You know what I mean? He's been through so much stuff in his life. And it was just like, that's the guy. But I love how it was like, I judged the book by its cover instantly. And I'm just glad that I wasn't forced to eat that decision. I was glad it circled back around and gave me another shot, because he was perfect. And he's, in my opinion, one of the best actors out here in Colorado for sure.
Oh, he definitely, and this movie is evidence of that. He knocked it out of the park with that monologue. Still, like, as I'm listening to it, I'm like, wow, like, very rarely you could give this monologue to actors who've been in the industry for years, and I know they couldn't get it. Like you said, with your natural reaction, even me thinking about it, I was like, my natural reaction would probably be to play it angry. And it's just, his demeanor was perfect. Even when he's later in a situation with our main characters, where he's with our main characters in the movie. And again, I don't want to give anything away. I want people to watch it. He's just very cool the way he's talking to them, Yeah. He could very easily consider himself to be in danger, and he's just very cool and calm about it. And he played that really well. But you had a slew of actors in this movie that really did that, and they worked together really well. Because he had to be cool because, and I'll call him by his character's name, Jesse. They just like complemented each other perfectly. They're parallels, and the viciousness versus the calm, but it's a wonderful, and like they pulled it off as like playing as brothers in the movie, and I love the turn of that. I know I'm going on a little bit, but you start with one almost sort of a vicious character in Mr. Leonard, but in a way more comedic than than the Hillbilly Brothers. And then you completely made the turn with them, and it just was like, oh, who am I dealing with now? What's going on here?
Well, we wanted the brothers to be the most professional at their craft in the whole movie. Like, everyone is like, Ben is really bad at thieving. Mr. Leonard is really bad at being a gangster. Paul No-Balls is even worse at being the gangster lackey. Annie's not good at running a bar because it's going under. David's not good at being a father because, well, I mean, like, everyone's really bad at what they do except for the brothers that like spot, they know their place, and like I really like them. Like I don't know, like they just, and Matt Burns, who plays Jesse, this is the only thing he's ever acted in. He's never done anything before.
Really?
And we went back and forth. He was a friend of my co-writers, and he was like, yeah, I want to be an actor, but I don't know what to do. And I was like, well, you look like what we need, and then we just spent months. I would send him a scene. He would send it back. We worked on a physicality. I've got tons of videos of him like carrying a broom like this, walking around his campsite and stuff like that, like just trying to get like the feel of the character, because he didn't have any lines, which made it that much harder. That's the crazy part. Like, not having, like, just using your emotion, like your face and just your mannerisms and how you look at a person, like that makes it 10 times harder to play a character if you don't have any lines, so that speaks to his dedication, which he was dedicated.
Oh yeah, the first time you see him, he charges at a character, and that was terrifying. I was watching the screen. I'm just like, oh my God, like I wasn't expecting that, because the movie had been something different until you get to that point. And I like how you put that. They're the only characters that are the true professionals at their craft. And
Yeah, he's good. He's a good knife thrower, and they're good at making gold. And yeah, they just, you know, there's a simplicity to them that I really am attracted to, and like wish I had more of. You know, there's a picnic table outside their house, and when we first got there, some of the crew started taking it away, and I was like, "Why are you taking the table away?" And they were like, "Well, they're monstrous killers. They wouldn't have a picnic table out front." And I was like, "Yeah, of course they would. It's their house. They probably have Thanksgiving at that table." Like, I don't necessarily see, like, that's how I kind of see them. And I think that you know, they've been wronged, basically. Like, they didn't start the fight. Jesse didn't start by throwing the knife. You know, he's like, the other guy pulls the gun on him. So,
yeah,
you know, but it was helpful to have that, like, understanding of their characters for me, because it helped me to not have to think about too hard about, like, making them scary. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like the more I would have tried to make them scary, you know, perhaps it wouldn't have come across that way. It's weird how when you try to do something, you know, sometimes when you try for a certain emotion, it like comes off as too on the nose, you know. So, yeah. So yeah.
Well, to kind of switch into filmmaking side of things, so it was, how long did it take you to write the script with your partner, Isaac Walsh?
Well, the first draft, the first version was called Black, Red, Gold, and it was more of like if Rook is like Guy Ritchie meets Coen Brothers.
That's a very apt description, by the way. That's,
oh, thank you. Yeah, but the first version was more just Coen Brothers. It wasn't funny at all. It wasn't fast. It was very slow. It was very, it dragged on, and it was cool. I liked it. It was a very similar story. It had a lot more like backstory in it, you know, for the characters and stuff. But basically, it took about 8 months, I think 8 or 9 months to write that version, and then we did a short film with Zach and Sarah over the holidays, and I told Isaac to write a short. I said, "Hey, I'd like to shoot a short film with these guys, just to make sure that they're right, to see if we worked good together. I don't want to commit to anything. You know, they were going to be in town." So we shot this little film, and it was funny, and it was like fast, and there was fourth wall breaks, and there was all this other, you know, it was much closer to Rook, because I told him, I said, "Hey, this doesn't matter. This is just for fun. So make it fun." And when we got done with it, I was like, that was so much more fun than I know this script that we've written will be to do. So we rewrote it, and Isaac added in, you know, Paul No Balls and like James the Minnow and some of the more, you know, Guy Ritchie characters to it. And then we worked on that one from like January till November when we started shooting it. So, you know, the whole running process, probably like, you know, close to 2 years, but we were writing it and rewriting it all the way through it. So it's kind of one of those things where they say, like, you write the movie 3 different times, you know? Yeah. But we really tried to get it as tight as we possibly could before we went to shoot it.
And you know, I really, and it took 12 days to shoot, correct?
Yeah.
So that was, how was that schedule? Because you are dealing with a good amount of characters here. I mean,
yeah, it was it was not enough time with not enough money and too many characters and too many locations, for sure. I mean, that's, if someone came to me and said, "Hey, I'm going to make my first movie," and they showed me Rook, the script, I would be like, "You're crazy." But you know, it worked. You know, we did it by and there was, oh my God, there was so many different crazy things that happened. Like the end shootout, and I haven't told anyone this actually. The end shootout, I don't believe so, at least, was shot in 2 different times, 1 week and then the second week. It was basically, we shot this direction week 1 because we didn't have Zach Andrews, who was playing, you know,
oh yeah,
who was in that scene too. We didn't have him till week 2, but we had to shoot. We had this time spot that we had to shoot, so we ended up shooting everything this direction, And then the next week we shot this direction and just prayed for more snow and the right sunlight and all this stuff. And it ended up working out. But yeah, that's basically what it was like. And we would, a lot of the locations were, or actually all the locations were right there in town, either in Victor or Cripple Creek. And we were staying in the old high school in Victor. We were all bunked in on bunk beds in the high school there. And so it made it a little easier to just bounce from location to location. So that's how we justified why we had so many locations, because it was like, oh, we'll shoot this scene over here, and oh, there's the alley we're going to shoot. We'll just turn the camera this way and walk over there. And like, it kind of, we planned it very meticulously to where it was bouncing around like that. And then when something would happen, and if something would put a snag in the schedule, we would just adapt. Like James the Minnow, his opening where he's in front of the church, that his original opening was like 5 pages long. It was this whole big scene. And we just ran out of time, and we were like, well, what are we going to do to intro James the Minnow? He's here and he's leaving tonight, so we got to do something. And Isaac was like, why don't we just sit him here and just have you walk past, and he'll throw a muffin at you, and it'll just be stupid and quick, but it'll get the point across. He'll get the phone call. That's the point, is he gets the phone call. So yeah, that's how it worked. It was whatever was available to us. We would jump on it.
You see that it's amazing to me too, because again, we were talking, I was talking earlier about, and you said it too, like, if somebody came to you with the script for Rook and said, here's first film, make it. I've seen with many movies before, like, it doesn't quite pull off, and you did it though. You really did. And the product is the evidence there. So that's why I've been, in my review and in here, I'm telling everybody, go check it out. Especially if you like heist movies, because it's that good of one. And I love your description of it's Guy Ritchie meets the Coen Brothers, because it really is. It's just a perfect meld of it.
There's a ton of little things in there that if you look closely, you can tell. I mean, the grenade pull, and like, the color palette, and just like there's just a ton of tiny little nods. We're like, oh, that'd be cute if we just put that in, and see who picks up on it. And
at the corner when Ben meets Mr. Leonard and No Balls. So it was Paulie No Balls.
Paul No Balls, yeah.
Paul No Balls. Sorry. I had Snatch in my head as I was watching it. It's just that type of interaction that worked. Yeah. So, but I had to ask, Zach and Annie, who played Ben, and Sarah, who played Annie. You said you did a short film with them. They seemed to kind of like, how long has they been working together? They seem to really mesh well.
They're boyfriend and girlfriend, actually. And when we were casting, so when we started casting, we started locally, and I said, all right, I want to see every local actor who is willing to send in a tape. Like, I just want to see everyone. And she was the first person that Steve, the producer, was friends with her mom. And because she was raised in Lake George, which is just down the street from Cripple Creek. And so he was like, well, I got one actor who's a local, and that, and we could try her out. And I was like, yeah, sure, send me a thing. And they sent me her demo reel, and I was like, okay, yeah, I think she looks right, and she has, some of that fire to her, And so I sent her some sides to do a screen test, and she said, well, my boyfriend matches the Ben character. Do you mind if he screen tests for Ben, and we'll just work off each other? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, it's fine with me. And when it came back, all I could hear was his voice, because he was behind the camera. And I was like, if he looks anything close to what I'm thinking, I'm giving it to both of them, because they were both, their chemistry was so good already, being that they were boyfriend and girlfriend, which is, not that much. I mean, if you're in a long-term relationship, you end up getting that like bicker thing that, any relationship has, brother and sister, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife, how to push each other's buttons a little bit. and they already had that, and you could just hear it in their voice when she would like say something, he would just and he would jump into it. So we started doing more with them and testing them out and everything. But I once I saw the two of them together, they pretty much got the part, like the parts immediately, because that's a huge thing that you need to do as characters, is to like build that chemistry. And it just usually takes a long time. You have no idea if the actors are going to work well together, if they're going to hate each other, love each other, whatever, So to have them like that was really, it was really nice. So.
Now, I read, after you finish filming and, you're editing the film, and you edit it yourself, correct? Correct,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah. So, you, because of course COVID and the apocalypse happening, you skipped over film festivals, which makes perfect sense, and you went right to distribution. How did that go?
It went good. I mean, I submitted a few early cuts to some festivals, like before it was finished, that just said like submission cut and everything. But before we even found out about them, we got the COVID hit, and so it was like, well, I'm not going to wait for these, because I just knew that it wasn't going to stop, So I just shotgun blasted emails out to all any distributor I could get an email address for, and made a custom email for each one, referenced a couple of their movies or whatever that I had seen. And a friend of mine from LA had a movie distributed through Gravitas, and he was the one who was like, yeah, they're really cool, because they're not in California. They're I think they're Ohio or something, but they're just like the scrappy young distributor, and they're putting out a ton of stuff right now. I don't know if you've seen, like, they put out like a movie, at least a movie a day. It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
And so we just were really fortunate to slide in there when they started their big push to like cast a wide net, is I guess what they're doing, and so yeah, that's why you go to film festivals, is to find distribution. So if we can get a deal without having to travel all over the place, then that was great.
Yeah, and that was I would love to see it still, if you do decide to do the film festival circuit after everything stops going crazy. I would love to see it out there some more. We have a film festival here.
Where are you actually?
I'm in Winchester, Virginia.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So it's a small art town. We do a lot of work out here and stuff. Working Gravitas actually just picked up a friend of mine, his movie too, Getaway, which was a horror movie he made last year.
Getaway? Wait, the bus one?
No. This is a slasher film he had just made. It actually comes out. It just hit theaters
with the kids.
It's like a film. It's a film students. They go out and it's like a cabin in the woods type of movie.
Yeah, I just saw Gravitas. They've been putting it out like on the ads. I've seen a bunch of stuff. I saw the trailer for it actually.
Yeah, that was shot right here.
Really? And those are friends of yours? That's awesome.
Yeah, Blaine Weaver. He's a good guy. This is he just had one. He had a crime drama that came out a couple of years ago, Cut to the Chase, and so Gravitas, I think he's been working with them quite a bit. He comes on the shows quite a bit.
Oh, that's awesome.
To promote. So, but yeah, no, I mean, and it makes perfect sense, because this is the type of movie that should be out there and deserves distribution. Your movie, of course, Rook. I do want to ask one question about the title, and that's for anybody watching to kind of get into it. Why Rook? Why was Rook the? I know, I've seen it.
Yeah. Well, it really started with. I'm a chess player. I mean, I'm not a really good chess player, but I'm a decent chess player, and I've always considered like the rook to be the most powerful, or at least the most attractive piece to me, because of its steadfastness. And it's like, it doesn't play games. It doesn't try to scurry around and have these weird like sideways. It's just straight or left or right. He's just very, very matter of fact. And we were writing the movie like. The David character is the one that I was really like, really putting a lot into, and I just really had this feeling like he's like the backbone of the thing, and like, he has more power than anyone else, but he refuses to use it until it absolutely is necessary. And that's, I don't know, that's the Rook. That's just it doesn't play games. And so it started out like that, and then it was like, well, Rook, to Rook something is like to steal something or to swindle somebody, So like it just kind of worked out to mean the same stuff, and it was a snappy title, and so I just made the chest, or made the the lighter and put it on there, and plus like the white Zippo, or I can't say Zippo, the white cigarette lighter with the emblem on it, like it's like Indiana Jones's, when he had in Last Crusade, with the clover on it. And I'm a huge Indy fan, which is also why Annie punches Ben in the first scene to kind of match the Raiders with her and with him and Marion, that whole thing.
That's fantastic. I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of little stuff like that is just, we've wanted to put in. I've been watching movies for so long, and so this being my first one, it's like, hey, I can do what I want. The McClouds, their name, McCloud, is the name of the villain in my favorite Western, El Dorado, Nels McCloud. And it's just like stuff like that. Like we had a lot of fun putting little things like that in that, made us happy when we saw it, But yeah, so that's the story behind Rook, behind the title.
That is so fantastic. And I got to ask, what's next? What are you working on, if you can?
I'm working on, it's going to be a family friendly movie next. And even though, my kids have seen Rook, but we're going to do a hockey movie, a small town, underdog story kind of a deal. Sandlot meets Mighty Ducks.
I'm sold. I'm sold with that connection.
We're working on it right now, and it's actually the story is actually a true story of a guy out here. So yeah, so we're still doing the interviews and trying to decide, and but that looks like that's going to be next. I was going to do a TV show, but then I decided that I should probably do another movie, because I feel comfortable doing another movie now that I've done one, and I have not really a clue how to do a TV show. So we're going to do another small movie.
That's amazing, and that sounds fantastic. And when it's ready to come out, you let me know, and I'm happy to promote in any way that I can. I'm promoting Rook now.
I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good filmmakers, they need to have a light shined on them, especially independent filmmakers. That's what it's about, supporting indie. You guys are the ones that are putting out all of the content that we need right now. So you're the only ones.
They say there's like a gold rush now with like content creators, and it's like I've been waiting for this moment for decades, because it's been very hard to anyone can make something, but until Netflix and all these streaming services popped up, it was like, well, unless it's a big budget thing, it's not ever going to see the light of day until now. So this is like it's a great opportunity for all of us and you guys. And I'm just like, I love talking to reviewers, because you guys are really what push it. I can make a great movie, but you guys are what is going to help get it seen. So I'm just as appreciative to you guys.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and that's we definitely will. And I have shown it to a couple of people.
Really?
I've had them rent it. A couple of people, because this is a channel, so I have 11 shows on SceneSnobs.com. So it's I have hosts everywhere. I was like, you guys got to see this movie. Especially a few of them are big heist fans. I was like, then go check this movie out.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome. I appreciate that, dude. Yeah, that's great to know. I love that it's finding an audience, because it was always going to be like or it always felt like it was one of those movies that you either really liked or you didn't like, and the funny thing is a lot of people have different reactions to stuff like the ending. Some people really hate the ending, and they're like, you ruined it with the ending. And some people are like, thank God you saved it in the end. Like, it's funny. I don't know. It hits everyone a little bit differently, and I like that.
Yeah, and I think that's what works about it. It's because that ending did and again, I will not ruin anything, but I'm against that for new films. I want everybody to go out and see them. But I was not expecting the ending that we got, but it was a good ending, and you tied everything up. So that's
I appreciate it.
Important storytelling. So
I like the ending.
yeah, no, I thought you did a really great job with it. And, every character, like I said, is tied up, and it's a little story. So I do have to ask. I kind of end things on like a fun note, and we talked about Indiana Jones, talked about the Coen Brothers, talked about Guy Ritchie and some others. But I want to know your top 5 remote dropper movies. If it's on TV, it doesn't matter where in the movie.
Yeah.
You see it, you're dropping the remote and you're watching it.
So my favorite movie is That Thing You Do.
Nice.
And that is I mean, I don't, it being on, I don't have television. So like, there's not much of walking past things, but like I watch that movie all the time. Lost in La Mancha is a documentary. I watch if we're going by like what will I watch if I think about it, like, oh man, I need to watch that again. Lost in La Mancha, it's a documentary about Terry Gilliam making Don Quixote, and it just falls apart and just evaporates through his hands within the first like week of shooting. And it's like a filmmaker's horror movie, but I watch it all the time because it's like, well, it could be worse. You know what I mean? Whenever I'm feeling like things aren't working out, it's like I watch that movie and I'm like, oh my God, all right, it could be worse. So I love that one. I just showed my kids The Matrix, which
nice.
I hadn't watched in a long time. And like, man, that movie was it's so good. Like every single moment in that movie, there's not one boring or like unnecessary moment in that movie. So that's great. Snatch, I've seen hundreds of times. El Dorado, another one. Yeah, it's my Western of choice. Rocketeer, I'm a big fan of Rocketeer. That would be my superhero movie. If anyone ever offered me a superhero movie, I'd say, give me Rocketeer.
Well, fight for it. They're remaking it.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, well, there you go. See, it should be made here in Colorado Springs. This is where all the Air Force stuff is.
Yeah. And
listen,
Zach would make a good Rocketeer.
He would make a good Rocketeer. You're right. Absolutely. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll write something real quick. Hold on a second. No. Yeah, I don't know how many that was, but that's a bunch of '90s movies. Someone said that Rook really made them feel like they were watching a '90s movie, and I was like, that makes sense. That's where most of my like interest lies, and like I love movies like Con Air and The Rock and like just these old,
action.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just like they just have these like character. Nick Cage was like such a part of my growing up, and that's why I'm glad to see that he's making a comeback, and he's really putting a lot into it again. So, but yeah, that answers your question.
That it was a great answer, absolutely, and I see a lot of that in Rook. So I mean, it works. Like it's always nice when I ask that question, and the filmmakers' movies, you can see it in there. So it's you could just see like how it plays out with shots and things like that. So I think it's beautiful, man. And again, I wish you all the success with Rook and going forward. You got the talent, man. You got the skill. It's there. I can see it. And you made a great movie, and you and your crew, all the best on it.
Well, thank you, Mick. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. And anytime, please feel like a friend of the show. You want to come on, promote anything like that. We'll have you on any one of our shows. Absolutely.
Oh, awesome. Well, yeah. Well, let me know if there's any other stuff that, you think I'd be good for. I'm happy to. I love talking about movies and talking about our movie and other people's movies. And yeah, I'm happy to be a part of the community.
Well, we do a lot of that, so I will absolutely let you know.
Hey, what'd you think of Tenet? Did you see Tenet?
I've not seen it yet. I haven't gotten a chance to go out to it. How is it? Was it good?
what I could understand of it was great.
Well, you know you're going to get a great film made, but
Right.
sometimes with those stories, you're just like, all right, what's going on here, Chris?
Well, I was curious because like the sound was really bad, the dialogue. It was you couldn't really understand what they were saying, and I was wondering if it was like a theater chain thing, like maybe certain theater chains you could hear it better and certain ones you couldn't. But yeah, it was very difficult to understand. But the movie itself was beautiful and fantastic, and I can't wait to watch it with subtitles.
Yeah, I was supposed to go see it. We only have one theater open here, and it's the Alamo Draft House.
Oh, okay.
So, and they came out, and they're doing well because they're still holding. They were like the first theater to open up in the country, pretty much. They were first Alamo for sure, and before any other chain opened up.
Really?
Yeah, they because they own the property they're on, so they didn't have to pay rent or answer to anybody else. So they set the tone for the COVID restrictions, which they still follow. I went back the first week they opened, and it was safe. I still do whenever I go in. I feel safe. I feel, there's good social distancing. Everybody's in a mask. They're very strict about a lot of things. Always cleaning stuff. So a lot of other theaters went to them or talked to them about their restrictions of what they were doing.
Oh, wow.
And it worked out.
Do you think we're ever going to get back to the way it was with just movies and going to movie theaters? And like, do you ever think that it's going to be, similar? Or do you think it's going to become more like it used to be and it was more of an event, or? I
think it will be more of an event. You're going to see a lot of chains close down. Fortunately, AMC has hit hard, Cinemark. So I have a feeling you're going to see a lot of them close down. So now you're just going to see theaters just have to kind of adapt and bring people back when they can. It's going to be a while though. Streaming is going to be king for a while. Hopefully, I love the theater experience. I love the fact that drive-ins are doing well. Really works out, and they're kind of picking up anything. Actually, the director Blaine Weaver I was telling you about, the one who also just sold his movie in Gravitas. He just went out. He went personally to different theaters and said, "Listen, I know you're looking for content. Would you show my movie?" And they're doing it. So they had the world premiere of his movie here at the Alamo Draft House, and they now he's doing it at the Family Drive-In, which is our.
That's so cool.
So yeah, it's a lot. I find a lot of indie filmmakers right now where they have their stuff and theaters are looking for content, and you can only show the classics for so long before people are like, all right, going back out to see it.
Right.
So, Back to the Future, which is my favorite movie of all time.
Oh yeah,
has been shown quite a bit in different theaters around here. And I'm like, I'm not going to see it every single time. So I think a lot of those independent features are getting picked up to be shown. So
yeah, well, we'll see what happens. I'm excited. I feel like we're just starting to see, all these services, they're all just pumping so much freaking money into this. It's hard to imagine there's going to be any sort of a shortage anytime soon. Yeah. Which just means it's a bigger pond. So yeah, we'll find our little our niche, and people like you are going to help us do that, and we really appreciate it.
100%, definitely. All about supporting indie. So, but yes, thank you for coming on the show. Is there anything, social media or anything you want to promote before we go, or?
Yeah, we're on Facebook. Rookfilm.com is our website, and it has all the different places you can stream it. You can get it on Amazon, iTunes, DVD, Blu-ray from Amazon or BestBuy.com and Blu-ray.com and a bunch of other places like that. And right now it's for rent and for sale, and it should be on a subscription platform in the coming months.
That's fantastic. And everybody go check out Rook. It is, for, like we said, for a time where everybody's starved for content, it's hard to find in a sea of movies, and I don't ever like to call a movie a bad movie, but a sea of movies that may not have a great story or be shot very well, still enjoyable. Rook is above and beyond that. It is a very well shot film, very well acted, very well. It's a great story. So go check that out now. Go rent it. It's worth the money.
Thank you, Mick. We appreciate it.
Well, absolutely. And thanks for coming on the show, Stephen. Very much appreciate that. And until next time, everybody, this has been the Scene Snobs Interviews, and I will talk to you guys soon.